Hey, everybody, welcome to the call. So glad that everyone made it this morning. I know we still got a few people jumping on. I can see them kind of getting in here. So give it about 2 minutes. Hey, everybody, welcome to and we'll get started. So glad that everyone made it. All right, well, let's get this thing going. So you should be able to see my screen now. If you can see my screen, make sure and let me know so that I'm not just blindly talking to everybody and nobody actually sees what we're sharing. But we're going to be talking about the insurance tsunami today. And the insurance tsunami is a lot more than what most agents are even thinking about at this point in time. I know that most of you are extremely busy. You're running agencies or managing your teams or handling clients, dealing with carriers, and just really trying to navigate the changes that our industry has had for decades. And so I want to thank everyone for being a part of this, for investing your time. Today is definitely not a sales training. It is not a marketing workshop. It is not another webinar about lead generations. What we're going to discuss today is much, much bigger. It's one of the most significant shifts I've ever seen in our industry or that I've ever experienced. We have all heard about hard and soft markets, but this is much bigger than that. I think this is a cultural shift and an industry shift that we haven't seen in the past. So, few things for today, just to kind of have some house cleaning as we jump in. First, stay to the end. I'm not here because there's going to be some crazy, bonus offer stack or something. Because everybody builds everything that we do today builds on everything that we're doing. If you miss the beginning, the end won't make sense. If you miss the middle, you'll misunderstand the conclusion. And secondly, participate. Drop comments in the chat. My good friend and co-founder David is on as well, and he is there to answer questions in the chat. So if I say something along the way that maybe you don't understand, or you have a question about something, and it looks like I'm kind of freezing up here, so hopefully this will clear up. If you can still hear me, David, give me a nod because I can see you if you can still hear me. Is my screen frozen though? Okay, it is just on my screen then. All right. Second, like I said, participate. Drop comments in the chat. In fact, real quick, if you wouldn't mind, drop a comment and tell us where you are coming from in the chat. That way we can see it. And then answer questions along the way. So a lot of times I'm going to ask you to drop a number in the chat or get you to participate some way to we can better gauge where you're at. This whole experience is going to work better when it's a conversation with all of us. And third, take notes, take lots of notes, because of what we're going to talk about may fundamentally change how you think about your agency. And I see some of the people on here. We have several people that are literally launching new agencies. This is probably the absolute best time for you to be on this call because you get to start from the beginning with the frame of mind and mindset that we're talking about. So as we jump into this, I want to start with a simple question for everybody on here. Well, let me tell you a little bit about myself first. And those of you who don't know me, I'm the co-founder of the Agent Underground, the creator of the Insurance Tsunami and the Agency Shift. I've been in this industry for more than 20 years. I've worked as an agency growth coach for multiple companies. I've built distribution strategies. I've been an agency owner. So for all of you that are agents, I understand exactly what you're going through. I've run my own agencies, in fact, multiple agencies. I had a scratch startup agency. I took over an existing book of business. The last few years, I had a national IMO with agents in 18 states selling life insurance. I've literally worked with hundreds and hundreds of agents and agency owners across the country, all at various levels. I've been on corporate side, and like I said, been on the agency side. David, my co-founder as well, he's got 20 plus years of agency growth and leadership experience. So fortunate and blessed to have him as part of the team. And Manny, who I see just jumped on the call as well. He is also a co-founder. He is, without question, the genius of the group. He is an AI system, not just builder, but architect, automation architect. He is focused on building business scale and efficiencies. All the tools that we talk about on here, he has had his hand in or built directly and has done some pretty incredible things with that. So that is who you are here with today. So let me ask you a question. How many of you feel like something is just entirely different in the industry today than it was even 5 years ago? Some of you may not fully understand that, but some of you do. Drop in the chat if you think that even the last 3 years, there's been a shift in the way that this industry is working, the way that there is just a different feel about what's going on. Drop that in the chat. I want to see what you all are feeling as well.
Hey Rob, the chat is disabled.
Let me enable it. Thanks for letting me know that. I don't know if we can put a chat in there.
They can put it in the questions.
We got it. The chat should be open for everybody now. So thanks for letting me know. Make sure it is. So real quick, drop in. If you feel like there's been a change, just drop a yes in there. It should all be working now, the chat. There we go. We got people saying yes already. I'm not talking about it being harder, just different. Like something has shifted. There's been a definite shift. I've watched carriers grow and disappear, agencies thrive and struggle, technology reshape everything. Years ago, when I had my agency, my last agency that I had for property and casualty was I took over the agency in 2019, just right before the pandemic. And I had a full team of people, three total staff members at that time, plus myself. And in that first year, we grew the agency more than 30%. And just were blowing and going. And then COVID hit. And everything began to shift and change at that point in time. Everything began to move. And I realized that the carrier that I was with, because I was a captive agent, they weren't going to move fast enough. They may be big enough to put money into it, but they're not fast to move. And so I began this quest of really trying to understand how to operate an agency in a world that was changing in real time. And that agency change was being compounded by COVID. I knew that people were online buying insurance, and that my position as an agent was becoming far more precarious because people didn't want to come into the office. They couldn't come into the office. That face-to-face, belly-to-belly interaction was changing in real time. Leads were becoming different because people were now online shopping for their insurance more than ever. And so I realized that I had to begin my own transition. And so in doing that, what I began to discover, and then working with agencies, the question, why are some agencies getting stronger while others work harder than ever and fall further behind? And in working with agencies, I found some pretty interesting reasons why. See, it all began to click together when I noticed that the hardest working agents weren't necessarily the ones that were winning, that the most experienced agencies weren't the ones that were always winning, and the longest carrier relationships weren't always the ones that were winning. What it really, I began to really ask the question, what if it wasn't these variables? What if it wasn't about agent skill set or lead quality? Those things are important. But what if it was really about the position that I was in, the position that I was as an agent? And so, these answers kind of became uncomfortable because it really made me start looking deeper at myself, at the agency, and what it meant to be positioned as an agent. So here's the thing today. Here's the promise to you for being on this webinar. By the end of the day, you're going to understand why the market is changing, why some agencies thrive while the others struggle, what the agencies winning right now do differently, and whether your agency is positioned to survive and thrive in the changes that are coming. So if that sounds fair to you, if that sounds good, drop a 1 in the chat and just say, let's go, and let's get this thing moving.
Rob, while they're answering in the chat, can you please unshare and then reshare?
All right. Did something freeze up?
We had a request from Manny to ask you to please unshare and then reshare.
Okay, you got it. Can we see it now? David, can we see it now?
Yes.
All right. Thanks, sir. Appreciate it. All right, everybody. So let's talk about the agency shift first. Some of you have taken our agency shift assessment. Some of you haven't. If you did, you already know some important things. If you haven't, then that is one of those tools that you're going to want to take. This assessment really isn't measuring production. We're not interested in looking at what your production numbers are. It isn't measuring revenue. It isn't even measuring how many policies you wrote last month. This assessment measures something far more important. Number one, it measures your structural defensibility. Can your position as an agent survive once the transaction no longer requires an agent? I want you to imagine for a moment that your agency shifts in such a way that you're no longer necessary, that people can buy home and auto products online, which we already know they can. In fact, just last month, Progressive overtook State Farm as the largest auto seller, insurance seller in the country. That's a major shift just amongst the carriers in a shuffling. So this assessment measures your structural defensibility. Are you viable and necessary in the coming tsunami? And the second is your organizational capacity. Can the agency execute, scale, and adapt without depending on you, the owner? You'll be surprised at what your score is. Because after years of studying this industry, I've become convinced those are the two variables that are going to determine which agencies survive in what's coming. So the one thing that I want you to take away from this, the goal is not to become a better agent. This webinar is not about how we make you a better agent. This goal is, how do you become a tier one agency? It's not your survival in the coming future as an agent and as a business is not going to be determined by your effort, your loyalty, your tenure. We can have a brand new agent, which we have on here, start exactly with what we're talking about where we're at, and they can accelerate and go beyond a seasoned agent who is so focused, hyper focused on auto and home. I remember talking to an agent one day on the phone, and I was talking about making a switch into even commercial insurance, and he laughed, and I think he broke out in hives when I mentioned commercial insurance, because he was like, we are 100% personal lines, auto and home. That's all we do. Well, his structural defensibility is none, and we'll show you why here in just a few minutes. A new agent has the same potential and the same strength to become a tier one agency as an agency that is 20 years tenured. In fact, I would argue that they're maybe even better positioned, because they're not going to carry around a lot of the baggage that some agencies will. So today's roadmap, I'm going to share 3 discoveries. Discovery number 1 is why what we're experiencing is not a hard market. Discovery number 2 is why most agencies are struggling with a problem they don't even realize they have. And then in discovery number 3, what tier one agencies do differently and how they're positioning themselves to benefit from the changes that are taking place. And when we're done, I'm going to show you the exact framework we've built to help agency owners just like you make that transition. So this is our roadmap for today. This is what we're going to focus on and talk about throughout the remainder of our time. So here we go. Secret number 1. It is not a hard market. We are in the midst of what I believe is a structural reset. See, most agents have been out there talking about, if I can just survive long enough, things will eventually return to normal. If you've used those or had those thoughts in your capacity as an agent, drop a 2 in the chat and let me know that that is something you've been hoping and waiting for the hard market to end, for the carriers to open up again and let you start writing business the way that you used to be able to write it.
Hey, Rob.
Yeah.
The slides aren't changing.
Well, that's not good.
So we see the webinar event.
I wonder why it's not changing for me.
And your screen, did you turn your camera off?
I did, but I turned it back on because I wanted to see if that was the problem, and I've fully disappeared. This is the fun of doing live webinars, folks. You can practice all you want, and then you go live, and this is what happens. So this is the fun part. Everyone stay with me, hang with me, don't go anywhere. I don't know if all right, let's see if I just share my screen, what happens. How about now? Can you see my screen now, David?
Well, now all I see is I see the webinar event main page.
All right, let's try one other thing here. How about now?
I see your blank and I still see the main landing page.
Do you see yourself, David?
I can see myself.
I don't know why we see just you.
Do you need to hop out and hop back in?
Yeah, I'll hop out and hop back in.
Bear with us, everybody.